Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Spicy AF. I'm back with another spicy topic. Support me by hitting that thumbs up. Also, follow me on X. It's Spicy AF and at SpiceTSpill on Instagram. And here is the picture. Subscribe and share. When we saw Diddy abusing Cassie, most of us felt terrible. You probably cried. And you probably felt like you wish you could help her. Have you ever took the time to think about all the staff members, the family members around Diddy? Even his own children. Anybody that could have possibly witnessed Cassie getting abused. Anyone that could have seen the things that is being alleged as of now. That he's being accused of. Now, if it's not true, there's nothing to see. But there's so many people coming out from all over the world that it's almost impossible to deny at this point. There has been a woman other than Cassie, that have been calling out, crying out, and trying to tell us long ago, at least for 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken. I say 3-4 years she's been going live. Why haven't I seen her videos? Why haven't I took notice? I'm always looking online at something. I haven't seen anything. Her name is Allie Carter. What is the difference between a Cassie and Allie Carter? Well, Cassie's skin is different than the African American or the African skin. Sadly, it's a sad truth, but it is true. That's what I see as true. Allie, black, has been telling us, y'all, she has been telling us about the tunnels. She's been telling us about the sex trade. She's been telling us about the children that are taken, missing kids coming up. She said, be aware, be advised. For the judge, that's for just pay attention to when Diddy's lawyer is asking that these accusers' names be made known. And don't let them say they Jane Doe's. She's telling us, don't trust that. Don't trust that. She's telling us they want to know who's accusing them. She's telling us even some of the alphabets, they're not to be trusted. I mean, look at the politicians and things that was at the freak-offs, that was at his parties. She's saying that is a red flag. She's also wanting us to pay attention that the children are not being talked about that much. They're being mentioned when these new lawsuits come up. They gotta be mentioned because there's new lawsuits being filed. But after that, are we gonna focus on helping these kids? And what about those kids? What about those tunnels? Why haven't they been raided yet? Why aren't they all over the news? These are the things that Allie is coming to tell us. Allie was a child when she got into that field. We'll call it that market. She had a boyfriend who ended up tricking her and, tricking. And I'm going to use words and ways. You got to catch on and stay up. So yeah, she was with a boyfriend. He ended up getting her into the field. And then she was traded. She said was gonna go to Russia, but she didn't go. She was in containers, and there were little kids in containers. There were people being taken out. She's on the run as we speak. She can't be in one place for too long. She's been hollering. This stuff is very important. You want to know what are we doing over here? We reading Revelations over here. We are reading Revelations. I'm not the perfect Christian, but I am getting perfected. And that's why I choose to read Revelations. We've been reading Revelations chapter 17, y'all. And then not to get into too much of it, but check it out. Because it talks about the prostitute on the beast. The prostitute who has a golden cup in her hand filled with abomination. Intoxicating the people. Having the blood of the holy people. It's hard for you to understand if you don't relay it to what's going on. They're doing things to kids. Their blood is being shed. The blood of the innocent, the blood of God's people are being shed. And then it's coming right in front of our face how much we are close to the end and it's over. Allie has been screaming to the highest mountaintop, to the lowest valley, telling us what's going on, telling us that she's in a situation that she can't sit still too long, exposing them. She was supposedly in the video with these people, some of these people. And it definitely looks like her. It definitely has her facial features. There's a mask, there's a scarf around her mouth, but I can see some facial features that let me know that's her. She said the video was done inside one of the tunnels. Y'all take a listen to Allie, because I feel like people are not listening enough. They care about everybody else but themselves. Listen, black people, if nobody else care, we gotta care. We got to care about each other. If don't nobody else care. Look, Trump just called Puerto Ricans garbage. I don't care how they want to spin it. They still want to pass it by, be passive and let it go, and one ear and out the other. No, look, now I did accuse Trump of calling them garbage. I'm not going to say that. Let me take that back. But see how you can misconstrue? Actually, he had a comedian at his rally, which I don't believe that man was a comedian. If you have discernment, use it. Use it. Use your discernment. Was that man that was supposed to be a comedian racist? Use your discernment if you have it. Use it. Stop making excuses, yo. Pull back the layer of excuses. Pull back the layers of deceiving yourself. Do it. That man was just one of many that Trump had up there in his rallies. That's letting you know from his mouth, from out of his heart, how he feels. And the reason why Trump is getting the brink of it, he's gonna get the brink of it when he do good, when he whatever is around him. We know them by the fruit they bear, right? That's the Bible. We know them by the fruit they bear, is what Jesus told us. Don't make it difficult. It is what it is. So we know who Trump is by the people he associates with all the time. By what they say, by what they do. That's how we know who they are. So I don't deceive myself. Nor Trump or Kamala is good. Are you sick? None of them are good. None of them are good. It's only pray time. Pray, pray, pray when you want to win an election. But God knows who really cares about him. He knows who's really seeking him. He knows who really wants him. He knows who really cares and loves him. He knows who really cares about each other. He knows who's out here doing rituals and sacrificing just for a position. Ain't thinking about him. He knows who's lying, who's stealing, who's cheating. Everything. And we are just almost there. Almost time for the end. Almost time for judgment. Almost. But I want you to just pay attention. Pay attention. The signs are there. The signs are there. Allie Carter is speaking. Allie Carter has put her life on the line. She didn't just start this before Cassie came out. Allie may have thought that she was being ignored. Maybe she was being protected. Take a look.
Parties. Those are assault parties. And I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at a certain time of night when the music stops and then the DJ starts flashing all these lights and they close the doors, and then everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal-like demonic state, and you have no idea what's going on. And yes, there was a time where I was just like completely don't give a shit because it happened, and I was the type of kid that thought that, you know, you're in the presence of royalty and they make it seem like you're in the presence of Hollywood, so you should be honored and you should be appreciating that you're there. And I was that person. I totally acted like that. I was like, oh, it's fine, you know, it really doesn't matter. But then it really did matter when my pimp was like, he had rules. He had lots of rules, and it was more money. And if you know the difference between a pimp, a John, and a trafficker, the trafficker is the supplier, but the pimp is collecting the money and the John is doing the buying. So if the pimp is saying that full house, actual full-blown sex is it, by the way, kids, don't watch this. Goodbye. I love you. Goodbye. If you found my stuff, get off right now. This is the moment where I'm telling you I'm angry. I forgot to put that reminder in the beginning. Okay, cool. Goodbye. What was I saying?
Full sex.
Full house sex. Thank you. if the pimp paid for if there's rules to full house sex, and there's rules to anal, and there's rules to all kind of different jobs. Okay, so at a certain point, I was not brought or traded for anal sex, but that didn't matter. I have DID, and I went numb after a while. There's a reason for all of my splits, but I just went numb after a minute. And there's times where I just checked out. You can check out for a few hours while somebody is messing with you. It exists, because if you start fighting them back, then you're gonna suffocate, or it's gonna hurt worse. So well, for me personally, I checked out. That's how I'm still sitting here. So yeah. And that's not the only thing, because after so many hours of dealing with people, people assaulting you, after so many hours of that, then if you're still okay, then they just make you go to another job like I did. So then you're just transported through the tunnels. Yeah. You don't live in the world you think you do. And there are videos, and there is, I'm sure there's so much of this, and everybody is seeing slowly it come out, but nobody's talking about the kids. I don't want to open my phone and realize that somebody posted a video of me as a child, and there was times where, because I was on so much ecstasy and so much drugs, that I was laughing because I wanted people to think that I was okay, so they didn't kill me. So there are things that would come out that people would assume, like, oh, everything is fine, they're fine. No, I was 15, 16. I was a kid, and there were kids younger than me, and there are still kids younger than me, and CPS supplies a lot of these children. Let's just not be around the bush about this. CPS supplies a lot of these kids because they don't look for them. They don't care. You're runaways. You're AWOLs. No one gives a shit. So I'm happy we're on this subject, and I hope that we continue, because I'm still trying. I'm still here. My name is Allison Carter. My mom's name is Shelly Carter. In 2021, we did a live interview with Maria Z. We went viral in 2020. Today is September
23rd.
23rd?
Yes, it's the 23rd.
23rd?
Let me check. Yeah.
Yeah, September 23rd, 2024. In 2020, I went viral, and we lost our home. We lost our animals. We lost everything. I am a dance teacher. I was working as a choreographer, an after-school teacher, a volunteer for doing hair at foster care agencies for free. I was starting to turn around and try to feed the homeless and go back to where I come from, packing backpacks and things for children. I don't need everybody to love me. I don't need everybody to like me. To each its own, right? I have been screaming underwater since I was 3 months old. I went into foster care at 13, 14. We tried to do a case against Riverside County Child Protective Services, because Riverside County, do you hear me? Riverside County Child Protective Services was involved in my trafficking. I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested. And I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy. Alright? Just the same way nobody tells on Denzel Washington. People don't usually talk and stop and think about the children victims that are going through things right now as we speak, and the ones who suffered through all this bullshit. I decided to stop for a second and do some projects with projects all around, because we just said, you know what? This is our life. It's not changing. We stopped somewhere, and I've been hiding. My mom and I have been hiding. We've had our head down. We've tried to back up. We've tried to tell you everything that we can, and now we have people messaging us, investigators, people that want to talk now, when now it's because it's trending. We're still not on the subject of the kids. All the adults are covering their asses. All the adults are, I left at a certain time, yet you knew children were there. You knew these parties were not okay. They weren't freak-offs. They were satanic ritual orgies. Get it straight. It wasn't just adults in these parties. The adults were responsible for the child sex slaves that were in the party. And one of those children were me. Now, those who are trying to come at us now, talking like, oh, well, now the Diddy's out, now that you can talk. For why? Because we tried to have a case with Child Protective Services. We gave them 8 months worth of evidence. 8 months worth of evidence. That didn't even do a crumb. They took that case and they hid it. If you are a survivor and if you are a real victim, be careful. Because these hotline numbers that they're putting out, I don't trust them. I wouldn't do it.
They take your information to see what you have.
They're taking inventory.
And then they shut it down. They're taking inventory. So don't trust them. Don't trust the feds. Don't trust the judges. Fuck all y'all. You're all guilty. You're all corrupt. Any attorney that's taking money to defend Diddy, you're nasty and vile.
That's blood money.
That's blood money.
That's all blood money. You do know that, right? Whether you take money from him to shut up, whether you take money from him for period, that's blood money. I don't want anybody's money. Not even Lassane. And let me make something very clear. Even though it runs in my family, you can't fake your death. That shit is expensive. We don't have that money. We don't have the military involvement. We are not working with white hats. We are working with everyday people who can come out and do something when they can. Who can come out and say, I can be security when I can. Who can come and cover us when they can. But that's not all the time. Right now, we by ourselves. We can call on some angels. Yes. These are everyday people. They're not white hats. Get it straight. There's no witness protection program, because how well is the Secret Service doing protecting your former president? They not even doing their damn job. Even the photographer can get the shot. And including the people that can get the shot. Let's be real. Don't do the Lassane bullshit. Don't do that either. You want to know why? Because that all circles back to the military. That all circles back to fake arrest. That all circles back to lies. And not everybody can fake their death. Even though some of y'all are sitting pretty, trying to make the excuse of, oh, well, they were so evil, I was just trying to be undercover. No, bullshit. My face is out there. You little punk. My face is out there. You pussy.
No, and I see a lot of you people out there like, oh, they faked their death and they're going to come back.
No.
That's
no.
bullshit.
No.
Joan Rivers, you were up there partying with Michelle Manshell. Lassane, you were doing some dirty, vile shit. All of you. So any of these people that they're going to try to revive and prop up, bullshit.
No.
Bullshit.
You see all the people running? They're ducking and hiding because everybody knows that there was children there. But we're still not talking about the kids yet. When are we going to talk about the kids? Everybody's demanding something from the victims. Why aren't you demanding it from the news? You know he's about to turn into another Epstein, and then the list follows and it circles back into a web. So why isn't anybody demanding any information on the kids? Huh?
Where'd that supply chain come from?
Do you think that thousands of bottles worth of baby oil was for thousands of who? $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza was for who? Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those kids are going? This ain't about an election anymore. Y'all know that, right? The election is canceled. Because everybody that you love, you don't live in the world you think you do. Everybody that you think is not guilty is about to show you who they really are. I've been screaming for years. So now, if you see me over here trying to live a normal life and tying up loose ends as justice, mind your fucking business. We were followed the night that Diddy was arrested. I left a place that I was in, minding my own business, finally trying to stop for a second and get my life back. And you know what? I'm not even upset about that. I'm upset about the fact that I have to walk back into this place and I have to tell you all goodbye. So if you know who I am and you know me as Justice, you know I'm about to walk into this building and tell you I gotta go. Nobody ever thinks about the victims. Nobody. The victims' lives get turned around when the predators' lives want to just get announced. You slap them on the wrist and you bring up every source of trauma for the victim. But nobody wants to stop and think about that. I'm a survivor of abuse, trafficking, foster care, and so much more.
Okay, Ultra.
That has been since I was 3 months old. CPS reports were endless. CPS reports, even though they had bruises, they had proof. At one point, my surrogate was selling tapes to law enforcement from the back of her closet after she was abusing me and her other kids. You'll see a lot in the paperwork that it was evaluated out. At 4 years old was the first time I was without drugs, without anything. That's the first time I was like, oh, okay. I was locked in a room because I fought back. And then after her and her boyfriend did what they wanted to me, they put me out in the driveway in Ritchie Canyon. Nobody did anything. When it was taken to court, it was evaluated out.
Who stepped in for Allie? Her mother? You know, I'm just thinking, y'all, because I believe her. And if she's wrong, I don't feel bad. I don't feel ashamed, and I don't feel sorry. I'm okay to be wrong. I choose to believe her. I have been in positions where I didn't believe for certain people. But I believe her. I believe her. But who stepped in for her? What about the people around her? She said she was a party favor. She was one of the people laying on a table with fruit and had people coming up touching on her. She said that the music would be playing. You hear like house music at the parties. You have all types of people, industry people, white, black, all kinds of corporate people to musicians, actors at those parties. And when the music's playing, they're with the festivities. At a certain hour, the music changes. It goes off. She said people begin to act demonic. Sleeping with the girls, the little ones, doing things to them, violating them. This is what they do. And then I read Revelations, it makes sense. The blood of the holy people, God's people. These are the people that God called his, that are being victimized. These are the wounded. Many are the wounded of the righteous. But Jesus comes to save each and every one of them. Many are the afflicted of the righteous. So it makes more sense to me when you read Revelations. Now when you look at what's going on, the Baal worship back then is called Baphomet today. And it makes a lot of sense. Allie is getting the attention she deserves. But I'm more concerned about her safety than her getting attention. I'm more concerned about her being in right timing when God ordained her to speak and be heard, rather than her just getting attention because somebody else got attention. I ain't that type of person. I don't care what they do. We care about everything in divine order and timing. And I just want and pray protection for this young girl, this young lady. She saw things, she been through things, and it's just sad. It's just sad. Let me know what y'all think. Leave your comments, that thumbs up, like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned because we got more to come. Peace.